cracking.
Welcome everybody here to your Dota 2 Champions League. I'm your host TobiWan, bringing your live stream for tonight in a game which has one of the teams we expected to play. The Alliance being the first cabs off the rank, and they are definitely looking so far, well, not too shabby in recent times in the recent games. How will they go up against one is basically their sworn enemy? Originally they're meant to be playing Roskis tonight, with a quick change around the schedule at 9 AM this morning. We see Fnatic stepping into the pool, and we'll see just how they can dog paddle themselves all the way to victory. Stay tuned though, because we're going to jump ourselves into our way. That's not though. That's me. Oh, we're going to have a good night tonight, peoples. We're going to have ourselves a great night tonight. What you want to see is this thing. This is our draft right now, which is coming up on your screen. For those, I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. I'm going to get this completely out of the way right now. I am sick as a dog. I have all my medicines here on the side, and it's letting me get through today. But there's no way I was going to miss this match. Alliance going up against Fnatic. Hell no. Wild horses couldn't drag me away from this. I'll just dig my heels in and stay forever. But let's actually have a look at our team. So Alliance, the team I was talking about before, of course, I don't think this team really needs any introduction, but we're going to do it anyway, because Alliance, they are the winners of TI3, and they have been looking a little bit shaky ever since TI3. So far in their group, they are 1-0, so they are looking pretty damn decent here in Group 1. Fnatic, however, on the other hand, they're sitting at 0-1 after their first matchup. Fnatic played up against Team Empire and ended up losing 2-0. In fact, this is the group of 2-0s. We've had almost, well, in fact, it is. Every single game. We had 4 games coming out from Group 1, and every single game has ended up being a 2-0 result. So I'm kind of hoping for not that. I don't care if you could be sick as a dog and you're passing out. I want to have 3 awesome games of Dota. And normally from these two teams, we get it as well. They're the arch nemesis of each other, basically. They destroy each other, depending on the timing, of course, though. Fnatic can completely make Alliance seem like a third-rate team, but at the same time, Fnatic can sometimes overthink their drafts. They find themselves really just stuck in their ways, and they get completely shut down at some point of their draft, and you just go, wait, how do they end up in such a bad position? So we'll see if tonight, if Loda, who is currently actually in the captain's seat this evening, not S4 tonight, will be able to find Fnatic in a bad position for their draft. Starting off the bans, though, we take out Wisp as well as the Enchantress, so directed up against No Tail and directed up against most Fnatic lineups. So it gives you early pushing power, it gives you the Wisp combination with either SA, Tiny, all these different kind of combination heroes are there, and you never want to run that risk with Fnatic. So the easier thing is just to remove them. They also take out the Luna as well. So surprising, Luna in fact managed to get past this first little stage. Invoker, Clockwork, and Coddle being banned out here by Fnatic. So the Coddle is a little bit more of an unusual ban up against Alliance. But maybe we'll see well, we won't really see the reason for it later on, but it would be a nice little combination style hero with the Naga Sleep. Yeah, it could work that way, but it also would cause issues for Fnatic. Just that Coddle ban makes me consider that they were worried about Alliance doing the whole, like, the ultimate rat, which is PL kind of combination, but also it would stop Fnatic in a big push attempt, which means Fnatic almost want to go light underneath the tower, use creep waves as their main advantage, and Coddle can easily remove those, and also just allows off lanes to be insanely more effective than they could ever have been before. Pugna will be the removal out by Alliance, so yeah, they're a little bit worried about push power, and of course they just profit. If he didn't get banned out in this kind of draft, you know he had to be. You know he had to be. For Fnatic as well as Alliance, Admiral Bulldog on that one as well as Fnatic. Like, you can't let Trixie or Bulldog play that nature's profit. Even with Fnatic, they have a secondary player that will in fact run that will run the nature's profit, and that's Hani in the middle lane. He doesn't mind it. He doesn't mind it at all.
5 seconds remaining.
Also, greetings to everyone out there. One thing I want to tell you about, for those guys, you'll see it come up when we get ourselves further inside the game, but for everyone at home, I want you all just to grab one hand and pat yourself on the back right now, because for those people out there that are also watching through Dota TV, shout out to you boys and people here on the live stream, and people who are doing both are even more awesome. But we basically reached our first milestone. We reached the first milestone. I played the video just before we started up tonight. Of course, there are great milestones coming up, and there will be a LAN final for the next season. And if we hit high enough up in the prize pool, it is you people at home who decide where the grand final will be held. So there's some awesome stuff coming the way for the next season of D2CL. Not to mention this season as well, with a whole bunch of different awesome little activities depending on when we hit, like, what milestone we're able to hit. So yeah, really great times ahead. I'm looking forward to the Blood Show match, which is, I almost want to dub it that, because it looks like it's going to be so much fun for a commentator to cast. It's one of those games where there is no insight required, so it's my zone. Also, we're giving away new stuff as well, so if you head yourself over to d2cl.org, you'll see it in the news articles over there. But basically, if you're signed up right now to the Facebook, or if you're following the Facebook, or the VK page, it's your vk.com, but it's the VK page of the D2CL, so it's just D2C League. And head yourself over there. You got a chance to win some Arcana items. So all you got to do is just purchase either the tickets or subscribe to the Facebook page, and then you answer the questions which will be coming up on the social network pages. And if you do it correctly, I believe they'll just send you items. Seems easy enough. So yeah, we go with that one. Awesome. So it seems like we might also be having a possible rehost. I've just been messaged by Baskip. Yeah, Baskip, I'm watching you, man. I'm watching you. I always watch my Skype messages in case something goes wrong. It also seems, too, that maybe I will be joined by Fog for the next game. So, yeah, we're doing all of that. Oh, bye. This, thank you, boys. Thank you. Thank you. We get ourselves an awesome dynamic strat coming out here from Fnatic. So we get Nyx Assassin, Veno, Prophet, Undying. Now, this should be a Nyx Assassin solo. And the reason I say solo up on the top lane, Death Prophet in the middle lane, Undying and Venomancer together, nobody wants to come in close up against this kind of combination. And if you get this early kind of killing spree going on, like you get Decay, you get the Gale out as well, you just need a nice ranged DPS that can keep the action going down there in the bottom lane, and then you're able to get any kind of kill you want. Ancient Apparition, Naga Siren, they won't be able to control you in this kind of situation. So we add the Undying to the pool there from Fnatic. I'm really interested to see their last one, and the Bristleback will come up here from Alliance. So this should be them switching up their lanes. They realize they're going to get destroyed here if they try and stay on the bottom lane. They add Bristleback to a point. He can also get destroyed. But more than likely, I'm sensing some dual lanes coming out from Alliance. But then again, how the hell did they lane this? Because Alliance could run the Naga as a support. It could also be played by Loader. But if they run as a support, they get very, very greedy early on. That Naga Siren requires a large amount of farm before she... Well, not even a large amount. It used to be even more, like, even less farm, but it's a little bit more than normal. Farm to be massively effective. It's mainly the levels, the Riptide, the Mirror Images you're searching for. And then you got to have your Ensnare on top of all of that. So it's, yeah. You basically need time for this Naga Siren. And Venomancer and Undying don't give you any of that. They shut you down straight from the get-go. And this defensive lane from Alliance, I'm interested to see just how long it's able to survive. A DK would be a nice selection. You get some burst damage coming out, an extra stun, which Fnatic are actually severely lacking. They've got some controlling abilities, which comes out from Silence, Venomancer, Gale, and the Spike Carapace, which is technically a stun as well, that reliant on certain things. But then you have the Nyx stun, which is the only other thing that's available here for Fnatic. So they need something else to work here on the off lane for them. And then what we get, Nyx versus Bristleback. Bristleback should come out on top of that matchup. Middle lane matchup, more than likely, like Mirana going up against Death Prophet would be an option for them. And then you run the Naga AA support in the bottom lane, and then try and fight directly up against Fnatic. You could put the Bristleback on the safe lane, then just pick up a different offlaner. Someone that will work better up against... What?
Alliance's turn to pick.
So we're going to have a core Naga. But the anti-mage is exactly what I was not expecting. It's a support Nyx Assassin as well, which is even more, I don't know, say baffling, but it really actually shouldn't be that baffling when you look over at Fnatic, because they do like to run Trixie as the offlane Veno, but it's unusual when I see something like an Undying just to put him in one of those safe lanes. So they could attempt an aggressive tri lane, which is still being done with the Nyx Assassin as well as the Undying, and then with Trixie as their core in the lane. That puts Hani on the bottom in the middle lane, and Era as this anti-mage farming up on the top. But this anti-mage is just such a it's a good pickup going up against heroes like a Bristleback. Mainly because once that mana is gone, you're able to remove the ability just to get steamrolled. Like, because he can't keep his charges up, is the downside for him. So we have, I see the B, and it is the Bulldog down on the bottom lane. EGL will be babysitting him as the Ancient Apparition, and Alliance have in fact mixed up their lanes even further. They've thrown Naga Siren in towards the middle lane. So we'll have a Naga going up against Hani. Now, this is also being done on two fronts because we've got S4 Mirana, and that leaves RK as the disruptor. So you look at S4 and Mirana and go, okay, we're going to have S4 in the middle lane, it should be Loader on the bottom lane, and it should be Bulldog up on the top. That would be where your logic would dictate these lanes would end up. But by Alliance doing this switch around, they hoped that Admiral Bulldog would be able to just survive on that bottom lane up against this Undying combination they're expecting from Fnatic, and then they would win their top lane because they'd catch out these melee heroes like a solo off-lane Nyx or something like that. But they actually get the double melee heroes, which is even more hilarious here because Disruptor as well as S4, they can zone out. Yeah, we need a restart because I think, yeah, finally, I did send the message basket over to the channel. So I think, yeah, they've worked out that the game is currently not on the Dota TV ticket. So, yeah, we'll have to have a quick remake. But that double melee lane up on the top from Fnatic is just an interesting style to try and go for, because Nyx Assassin support, if it was proved by any other team, it was proved by Na'Vi in their matches just the other day, where it didn't work. Yeah, I don't think Adam realized you didn't type that public.
The battle begins.
Well, maybe we'll have ourselves a remake in a moment. Either way, the illusion rune is now up. So we get ourselves into a fight. So S4 with an illusion rune, that's a nice rune for him up on that top lane. I just kind of think he's not going to get a hold on to it because we'll have ourselves a remake. But so far, I'm not getting a response in our admin's conference. So I just go with the flow. I'm not the admin here. I am merely me commentator. I stay on the front lines. Okay, there we go. So the admin's now kicked himself in here saying we need a restart. No. And that means, yeah, we do see at least the lanes here. The dual lane here on the bottom lane. And then we get ourselves an aggressive tri-lane from Alliance up on the top. So Era's backed into a corner for the moment, and he can't farm up here at all. At the same time, Bristleback, 454 life points is enough with just a stout shield, so he should be fine right now. And Fly's trying to push him back even further. Because walking around with that decay, he doesn't care if he walks slightly underneath the tier 1 tower. I'm staying out of this. I'm completely staying out of this. But this bottom lane is already quite nice. He's still walking around with the 1 clarity from Fly. He's able to completely zone out Admiral Bulldog. While up on the top lane, Era, he's being pulled back. He's got another blink available, but then again, there's an arrow leap into first blood on the top lane. And Alliance will take that one home. While on bottom lane, Fnatic, Notel has rotated in, but he hasn't leveled up the stun yet. They're just zoning out Bulldog. But he's still finding levels down the bottom lane. That is all you really need for a Bristleback in the early part of this game. Of course, I say that at the same time as I'm seeing Trixie getting a lot of CS down here on the bottom, and that means a Venomancer rotating into a good set of items. And now Loader also backing up. He's going to be also massively defensive in that mid lane until he hits level 6, at which point he'll be okay. So this top lane from Alliance has just have to keep battling off. So Era, he knows he can't blink away. Well, actually he can because Glimpse is still on cooldown. In fact, there's not even enough mana for it. So they've just got to keep vision right now of Era, who blinks up and now does go down again. So Ancient Apparition picks up the kill up on the top lane. So they've split it up between S4 as well as AA, while on the bottom lane, finally the attacks come on Bulldog. He's done a lot of quill sprays across No-Tail as well as Fly and Trixie. With a couple of Plague Wards out in the field, he's using these as harassment. His first 2 levels just basically went into Poison Sting as well as the Plague Ward. He might have really been regretting that, hoping to have a Gale up and running. But he puts the second point into the Plague Ward, and this just shows you the purpose of this role. Like, they're not looking for a DPS Venomancer. They're looking for a front line, basically pitching up a tent and pushing out tower after tower after tower. And with the Undying Tombstone as well, you know you're capable of getting kills. You don't need to have the Gale because the Plague Wards with their Poison Sting do the job. And because you've got 3 wards at level 2 already up here, they're able to keep the creep wave out just long enough to do enough damage. So Fnatic are finding a trade, but at the same time, so are Alliance. They got 2 kills up on the top lane. They've beaten that tier 1 tower down. And we're going to go deeper again. Tombstone is currently down. More Plague Wards. They don't have that level up in Gale, so remember that. So the Tombstone is more of just like a filter for the moment. While the tier 1 tower gets assaulted on the bottom lane. And I'm pretty sure the teams will not want to restart this game up right now. They could have the option to try and load from the 3-minute mark. But it seems like Dota TV, while it's down, it's obviously going to cause a large problem. Yeah, but I'm actually with Loader on this one. You can't remake after the start of this because this game is just so dynamic in the lanes that you're able to prepare yourself so much better once you come out here. Even just the mindset. Even just the mindset of how this all goes down. It's, yeah. This bottom lane, this top lane, the transition as well. That's so Warcraft 3 of you, Loader. That's so Warcraft 3 of you. Replay. Hey, the casting is no problem. We're fine sitting here, and the VODs will all be uploaded later on. Of course, if you guys don't know, we upload them to Dailymotion, which is our host of the live stream as well as the competition. We host them up on both the D2CL channel as well as right here on the Join Dota channel. And of course, later on, we get the YouTube VODs come up 2 days later. So Dailymotion gets to have the cake for the first 2 days. But we'll be having 2 days break, and then the YouTube VODs will appear. And they'll be over on youtube.com/joindota, as well as on the D2CL YouTube channel. And you can find that channel over on d2cl.org, which is also where you'll find all your latest news, your tournament updates, your schedules, all that kind of jazz. Yeah. So we'll let the players just keep doing their thing. One thing we can do while we're waiting, Dota2Lounge.com/giveaways. I actually have more codes to give away today. Yeah, I have more codes to give away today. So I'm just going to say this one out here on the live stream for everyone who is tuning in. So you'll need to head yourself over, and I'm going to do what I did on my Facebook page the other day, which I thought was quite fun. So I got three sets of rares to give away. Yes, they are legitimate people. If you're not fast enough, I'm sorry. It's just the way the cookie doth crumble. But yeah, there are the codes to come out, 3 of them today. I'm going to put one on my Twitter, one on my Facebook, and say the other one right now here on the live stream. I'm also going to jumble up the order just to try and give people a fighting chance. Maybe you hit the right combination, maybe you don't. There's no like voice detection to get it all the right way. So the codes, you'll have a 7, you'll have a 1, and you'll have 2 S's. If you get them in the right order, I'll let you know the right order in like 3-4 minutes time, so you don't have to go. So you don't have to go. Oh, but. Oh, I wasn't fast enough on the fingers. It's all down to a little bit more chance as far as the coding time goes. All right, so we just the teams seem to be taking it into their own hands right now. I'm going to stick with the teams for now. Artem has left the game, which is obviously not a great thing, hoping for a remake. But the teams refuse to break it up right now, and they will continue to play. So we'll stick with them until the end. So the Tier 1 tower is about to go down here on the bottom lane. So Fnatic will get their first major landmark here. At the same time, Era, lull disruption. That didn't really go too far. And the arrow's also going to fly astray here from S4. And with the Thunder Strike coming out, it's only level 1. So it's not enough damage to kill off Era. So he is still okay hiding up here in the corner. But he needs a lot more space later into this game. And that space can be made. You've got Hani approaching level 6 very, very quickly.
Radiant's middle tower is
And this bottom lane, you know the rotation will come. Like, Fly's headed back to base right now. He'll finish up his magic wand, buy up a TP, and head towards the top lane. And then they will contest this lane head-to-head. Which gives the space for Trixie to do his little thing on the bottom lane. Also to find his levels down here too, which is also very, very essential for him. Because the higher up in the Plague Wars, basically the more impossible it is for the Bristleback to deal with it. What's he got coming out to him? So some standard boots for now. That actually doesn't help him up against Trixie, because Trixie will still win the battle of movement. There's no questioning that at all. And he is level 4. Does he go that point up in Gale, or does he commit to Sting completely? I kind of want to wait and see Trixie's decision right now. He's taking the time out to last hit. That's why it hasn't happened. We'll look at our other lanes and just keep... Yeah, he goes to 1 point up in Gale, which is rightly so. He's got to keep that Bristleback away from him. Hani is level 6. Well, do notice he has not skilled up his ultimate. We've got 3 points up in the Crypt Swarm and the 3 points up in the Witchcraft. Now, he's dropping Loaded down, but Loaded's still got 2 more bottle charges up his sleeve here. And you see Hani getting very, very greedy. Hand of Midas, no tail. He's going to see Arke just around the corner. Fly puts down the tombstone, so they're capable of diving right now, but Loaded just says, hold the phone. Hold the phone. In fact, he's sending illusions over because the tombstone will get brought down by the tower, which means No-Tail's in way too close. That's going to hold him there for a little bit. They can glimpse him back if they need to. Spike Carapace, wonderful stun from No-Tail, hitting on Arke before he gets pulled back. But Loaded's illusion, it blocks the path now for No-Tail. He's got one option only, and that's to find the stack in the corner. Denies himself up to the neutral. It was superb play coming out from Loader, but better play coming out from No-Tail. But the movement will now come from Alliance towards the top lane. They see Era farming up underneath his own tier 2 tower now. And this is pretty deep in. If they hit the arrow, which they don't, they possibly had the chance to kill off Era. It wouldn't have been like a secure kind of thing. The Cold Feet plus the Chilling Touch bonus damage on S4. He's got only 1 point up in the Starfall as well, so it wouldn't be enough to kill off the Anti-Mage. And in the meantime, Trixie's been soloing the bottom lane still. And Bulldog can't come in close on this. He's 10 for 0 up against a 45 for 11 Trixie. Controlling that bottom lane absolutely flawlessly. And now up on the top lane, well, you've got the perfect hero, which is No-Tail, to go up against someone like a Moran. He could throw his body in the way and just let the Spike Carapace do the work. And Era is still going to be concerned. But then again, is he trying to go into a hand of Mars himself? Not picking up any boosts, not picking up anything. He's got 1,250 gold just sitting in his account with nothing else. I'm also waiting for the Crypt Swarm that kills off Arke because he's getting overly greedy. But on top lane, they're coming in. They're going to find EGM. No-Tail with a stun. Arrow will fly up and it does connect on Era, but then the Tombstone, there should still... Actually, there's no Soul Rip, so Era, he's going to go down. They take some decent money away from him. No-Tail's Impel now also coming off cooldown. And with also the Decay, Fly just walks through almost 1,000 life points after he gets a 3 steals of Decay on top of him. He gets that point finally up in Soul Rip too. Can't near that for the Anti-Mage just at that last moment. But Era does go down. The Hand of Midas will now arrive for Trixie. At the same time, he's building into what almost looks like Tranquil Boots. He can dismember it all and then maybe build into something more like an Orchid. Yeah, so this is not going to end well. I'm just saying. This is going to be an interesting discussion between the admins as well as the teams at the conclusion of this game. So they go back into it. Hand of Midas is now up on Trixie. Arrive to the bottom lane while in middle lane, Hani. Well, he's used the ultimate once already. And that will explain why our mid-tier 1 tower's down half-life for the moment. And walking up towards the top, No-Tail. Chilling over on the side with 1k gold. Not too shabby for him. Interested to see if we see from No-Tail the rush into a Blink Dagger or not. With the calls we see on the off lanes, it's been happening a lot more. But as he's playing a support role too, he might consider just Arcane Boots as an essential item for him. So they're going to get the Arcane Boots up from Hani anyway. Sitting at 1k gold and backing himself up. Either that or he's just very concerned about everybody on the map. But they do see S4 quite clearly. Observer and Sentry Ward around, so even if Mirana comes in with her ultimate using the Moonlight Shadow, they're going to know about it. And Trixie, the very wise timing to TP out. He basically had no mana left whatsoever, and his services are required on different lanes now. In fact, we should be seeing switch-ups and just seeing either 4-man coming out from Fnatic, using Hani's ulti to try and force down that tier 1 tower. Again, not getting involved. But Era, yeah, he is. Oh, it's not even ahead of Myers. No, he's going in for a treads. He will go for the old standard kind of thing. So now Loda's going to pause the game so we can have. He's going to have a word with the admin. Because it looks like someone's finally. Yep. So not going in on this one at all. In the meantime, though, I know I didn't give you out the correct code for that giveaway. So if you are still trying, it has a 7, a 1, and 2 S's in there over on the Dota2Lounge.com/giveaway page. The code was S7S1. That was the code for the 10 rares today. So hopefully someone out there was able to win. I'll be putting out the other set of codes over on my Twitter as well as Facebook during the next games at some point. But of course, make sure you also follow the Dota 2 Champions League. I'm always linking those guys over on my networks too. So it's the D2C League is the Facebook page. It'll let you know about any updates as well, some social kind of stuff. And of course, you have that chance to win those Arcana items too. So yeah. I almost want to go to a break right now, so we don't have to talk about this. Oh, but either way, yeah, I'm not going to say I'm with someone on this one, but sorry, I'm actually with Loda's opinion on this one. But I have a yeah. I feel sorry for all those people out there that did buy the Dota TV tickets. The game ID can in fact be taken and put over into the ticket later on, so you will be able to have the game from there, but it just doesn't give you your live kind of stuff, which is obviously disappointing for some people out there. All right, so once the players and the admins have worked out what the hell they're going to do, we will advance ourselves through this tournament. We can talk about the schedule coming up for the next 3 days as well, while we have ourselves a moment. And those are matches to be cast by AC as well as the Capitalist. I will be doing Cena Cup as of tomorrow morning. That'll be starting up at 11 a.m. CET over on our JD Red live stream. But we also have on the MLG TKO live stream our live streams for TKO, and that should be beginning special announcement tomorrow at 19 CET. While the D2CL begin at 18 CET, as always, almost every single day up until the playoffs. Friday and Saturday is normally our days off for the tournament, as well as maybe Sundays every now and then. But hey, we're here on a Sunday. We were here on a Sunday yesterday. So yeah, tomorrow matches coming up for the D2CL. Lick will be playing up against virtus.pro. You'll then have on Wednesday Sigma. They've been having a real rough run recently. They've been having a very, very rough run recently, to a point where they almost didn't even qualify for Dream League. And at this point in the D2CL, they need to win every single game from here on out in order to try and advance themselves through. And that's a real rough ask as well. They got a lot of games. They got a lot of games to play, and the admin is not happy. Yeah, so wish all the best of luck to Sigma, see if they can get back on their horse. They were riding so nicely at the last MLG LAN finals, and a couple of other LAN finals too, and online competitions. So they got a lot of work to do to get themselves back up near the top, and their last games also aren't really that easy. Team Empire, they're sitting 2-0 right now in Group 1, and that's their opponent on the 26th. And then they've also got to be playing up against Fnatic on the 5th of March. And they're the last 2 games. You only play 4 best of 3s. This is why these games mean so much. 4 best of 3s. If you take #1 position, in the group, you go directly through into the semifinals. And by doing that, you basically guarantee yourself a huge share of the prize pool, which is getting bigger and bigger as well. As you can see down the bottom right-hand corner, we've already hit $112,000, and there's more coming in every single day. Yesterday, that was actually lowered by, we were sitting at 110,000, but we've gone up by almost 3,000 in the space of 1 day. So the tournament's getting bigger and better. We're getting, okay, so we're just going to go. Wonderful. Back into the game we go. And here's Trixie's movement. So, recapping what I was saying before we went in for our nice long pause, this is when Fnatic have to try and rotate themselves around and make more out of Trixie. Like, Hani is now down here on the bottom lane of all places, and he'll be looking just to try and find his solo experience down here, but then he's going to rotate in towards the mid lane at the right time. Now, Trixie can basically make a wall of wards up here on the high ground, and this will hold Alliance back behind their tier 1 tower, which forces a reaction. This forces Loda, or S4, to leave this top lane. He must come and fight. There is no option here. If they wait this out, Fnatic will just take tower after tower after tower, and then you'll see Era getting more and more money too. Now, he has been completely narrowly shut down. It's a 16 for 9 up against his opponent lane, which was 35 for 2, and that was Admiral Bulldog as the bristleback. Now, Bulldog's found the space down here on the bottom lane to almost finish up a Vanguard. And S4's finding free farm up here on the top lane. So this is still the problem, that Era basically brings nothing to the Fnatic lineup. That's why I was really surprised by this anti-mage pickup in the last point. I can understand the desire to go late game, and if they do take these early towers, then they will take late game. But there's still that big question mark that's out there. Aoldie's flying up. Era, oh, now they know there's an observer ward watching him. He shouldn't shatter from this. He shouldn't. And he won't. He'll be able to survive. The arrow was searching for S4, though. He thought for a moment, if there was no blink from the anti-mage, that possibly could have even connected. But it didn't at the end of the day. And now BTs are over on Hani's hero. So this is the way he's going to do it. We're looking basically at split push Death Prophet. And also just to deal with the fact that they are being poked and prodded. Now, the hilarious thing is, we can even go back to our draft at this point and look at the Coddle ban. Oh, we've got an ALD flying top lane. With Starfall as well as a short-range arrow, the arrow hits into the creep wave. S4 now has to be very, very cautious. He's lost his major stunner. No talent has been connected on by the AA ulti. Doesn't seem to be phasing him too much, though. And now the tier 1 tower will finally go down in mid. They commit Tombstone, they commit a couple of Plague Wards, and maybe that's what they're waiting for, because now in comes S4, battling up against Trixie. He's a decent kill to take, and, well, EGM is to get rid of the Undying Army, which Bristleback is very adept at doing, and then Mirana will make sure that AA does get denied out, glimpsing away Nota, dragging him away from RK, and into the Naga Sleep. 3 Euros locked here in the mid. The arrow! It turned off just a second too early. At the same time, though, Hani gets the ulti up. The decay comes out as well from the Undying. And Notal just basically stuns him up. And that's going to be the tier 1 tower going down the middle lane. Hani's ulti will take care of the rest of that. They just need someone like Fly to tank it up for him. And Hani can get his line back anyway. He's already just used his last bottle charge. That's why the A ulti's flying in. And that's a perfect time right there. The tower will go down the mid. And Krob's going to keep running because he knows he's going to stay ahead until the ice shards are worn off. Now he can turn around and get his life points back again. If he stuck around, then the ulti would have come back into him, would have no extra life points. He's going to go back to base anyway. That high movement speed with the BTs, he'll come straight back out again towards the front lines. Fnatic got what they wanted. They took out the tower. And they also managed to get a couple of easy kills. And now your Handmines has arrived for Era. This is such a greed build coming out from Fnatic. They got 3 minuses 14 minutes into this game. With 2 sets of drums coming up from Alliance, they're already showing they want to fight early. 2 drums, 1 urn, and then a Vanguard as well. That Era, he's not spotted out. Notel jumps the leap away from S4. He evades the follow-up stun. Hani will throw out his stun, but now they realize the support's on the way in, and it's already Arke battling up against Era, glimpsing him just that little bit close. The ult is a little bit too slow on the connection. But that anti-mage is looking very, very low. He shouldn't, again. The shadow won't happen. The Lions use Mirana ulti just to get themselves into a better position for this. At the same time, we've got Loda now on the bottom lane farming up. And we've got Bristleback in the mid lane also doing exactly the same thing. Farming up. And Fnatic, they're not claiming any map control. This is a big stalling matchup. And Alliance are playing it perfectly. They're using 3 heroes right now to keep the attention of what was almost 5 heroes. Fly comes to the bottom lane. They'll TP some support down here. And that's going to be Hani. But Hani can't claim any kind of position. He's revealed the fact he's been on that bottom lane, which means initiation comes towards the top. The stun from Notel. Leap is still available from the Rana. Does leap away. Deeper inside the Plague Wards, and Notel, he went inside the Vendetta. 1 hit, and he possibly could have even got an easy kill there. But he'll come back in for Arke. Ancient Apparition also taking a fall. And Trixie, well, there goes the Ancient Apparition Shatter. While S4 still looking for that extra arrow into Notel, revealing out the fact he's still up here on the top, but a quick TP out. And a Venomancer goes down for 2 supports. Normally, I'd say that's a horrible trade-off, but with the Venomancer being such a core hero, having such high levels as well, and such a high net worth, it's worth it for Alliance. They lose their 2 cores, but Bulldog's getting farm, Loda's getting farm. Loda's walking around with basic boots and drums and wand. That's enough for him to fight for now. And if he gets that Radiance up and running too, which, with this space in the bottom lane that's made, he could do. Fnatic could have a real problem on their hands. At the same time, Loda could then just go Mammo and go into Diffusal Blade. And that'll be good to battle up against the anti-mage this early on. And you see Hani now working his way into a Yule Scepter. So full movement speed from him right now, combining it with haste and an Invis Rune. It's a nice little thing to have once you trigger off the ultimate. Notel Vendetta hunting. And he'll find EGM. Or will he? Walks around the corner. There is no Observer Ward for the Dire side over here. The arrow, that was just having a bit of a fish right there on top of S4. They can force out the leap. But Notel not sticking around long enough to really do that. And we're going in for Roshan. With the Krob ulti, the slow out from Trixie, Roshan, it's just not going to be his day. And Hani doesn't care about the damage he's going to take right now, because he also realizes that he'll get his life back from the Krob ulti, and then have an Aegis the Immortal to boot. And with the extra money, the AOL is going to fly in here. It's going to hit on Hani as well as Trixie and Fly, but there's little to nothing that Alliance can do about this. So they have to let the Aegis the Immortal go. They're really banking on the fact that this Naga Siren, Bristleback, and Mirana in the later portion of this game will be able to win out over the top of both a Krob and an Anti-Mage, because it will be 3 versus 2 on the carries. Naga, oh, the pings are out. The pings are out right now. That's coming from the Anti-Mage. The arrow scouts him out, but it's a little bit in the wrong direction. The snare flies up. He can just keep blinking his way through the tree line. But Loda committed. He committed the sleep to that one. And S4 had to have a gamble with the arrow. Okay, now coming in towards middle lane. Fly, he can't run away from this one. And he knows it too. He basically has to turn, decay, and with Bulldog here, the AOD flying in as well, Fly's going to lose all of his life. In fact, he dies just from the Ice Blast. From the initial impact of it. So the Undying's on the sidelines, but again, they're still battling up against Trixie. Mr. Ring of Aquila and Mech, 18 minutes in, with 4 levels up in Plague Wards. Bristleback doesn't really care too much about this. S4 will have a little bit more of an issue, leaping himself in. There she glimpses back, point blank range on the arrow, and Bristleback's really hitting hard in behind him. At the same time, Mirana has to TP back to base. The stun comes in just at the right time from Notel. Stops the TP out of S4. Bristleback again, low on mana. This was always the advantage. The reason why they took the big advantage of really... Okay. Notel Spy Carapace is going to kill off Bristleback, or will they? Nope, Notel. He'll shatter. They just have to hold him there long enough, and Bristleback will kill him off. Buys a hand of Midas to celebrate it all.
Thank you.
So, Yeah. Don't know where we really go from here. I do not know where we go from here. I have nothing in my official conference letting me know what's going on. So for now, I can at least tell you that Fog will be able to join me for our next game. I know he's munching down right now. So we're going to go to a short break right now and see if Alliance vs Fnatic will be playing out any more than this. If not, we have ourselves a special VOD of a game that seems to not even matter anymore. So I was really enjoying this matchup. Just saying. I was enjoying it. I was having a great time. All right. So I don't know if the teams want to just play this one out or not, but it's up to them. It's up to them, the admins, or at least the guy who's passing on the message from the admins. All right. Seems we're going to have ourselves a remake. All right. So, yeah, we'll be back here in a couple of moments' time with our first game. See our first game? We'll see our first game. See you back here shortly, peoples.
Let's get cracking!